Danny Carter sat in the waiting room of the Colorado Medical Center, swinging his legs back and forth. He was 8 years old now, and these checkups happened every 3 months. His mother sat beside him, reading something on her tablet. She glanced at him and smiled. "You doing okay, sweetie?" she asked. "I'm fine, Mom," Danny said. He was always fine. That was the strange part. 5 years ago, Danny had been dying. He was born with a heart that did not work right. The doctors said he would not live past his 3rd birthday. His parents tried everything. Regular treatments did not work. Transplants were not available. They were running out of time. Then Dr. Helen offered them something new, something that had never been tried before. She wanted to use stem cells to grow new heart tissue, not to replace his broken heart, but to grow additional hearts inside his chest. The idea sounded crazy, and Greg Carter had no other choice. They agreed. The procedure took 6 hours. Danny was only 3 years old. He did not remember any of it. What he did remember was waking up and feeling different, stronger, like he could breathe better than ever before. The stem cells had worked beyond anyone's expectations. Instead of just repairing tissue, they had grown 2 complete additional hearts. Danny now had 4 functioning hearts inside his small chest, 2 on the left side, 2 on the right. They all beat together, pumping blood through his body with incredible efficiency. Doctor called it a miracle. Other doctors called it impossible. They ran tests for months. Everything worked perfectly. Danny's body had adapted. His circulatory system had rewired itself. 4 hearts meant 4 times the oxygen delivery, 4 times the endurance, 4 times the recovery speed. "Danny Carter," a nurse called from the doorway. Stood up and took Danny's hand. They walked down the familiar hallway to the examination room. Doctor was already there, looking at charts on her screen. "Good morning, Danny," she said warmly. "How are you feeling?" "Good," Danny said. "I ran 5 miles yesterday, didn't even get tired." Doctor raised her eyebrows. 5 miles? Danny, most adults cannot run 5 miles without stopping. "I know," Danny said, "but it felt easy." Frowned with worry. Is that normal? Should he be able to do that? Doctor ran her scanner over Danny's chest. The screen showed 4 distinct heartbeats, all synchronized perfectly. His oxygen levels are extraordinary. His heart rate barely elevates during exercise. Honestly, we are still learning what normal means for him. The examination continued. Blood pressure perfect, lung capacity amazing, muscle recovery faster than any baseline they had. Danny was not just healthy, he was beyond healthy. "The medical community still wants to study him," Doctor said quietly. "Research facilities around the world are asking for access." "Absolutely not," said firmly. "He is not a lab experiment, he is my son." "I agree completely," Doctor said. "I just wanted you to know the interest has not died down." After the checkup and Danny walked to the parking lot, Greg Carter was waiting by the car. He worked as an engineer at a nearby facility. He had taken the morning off to join them. "How did it go?" Greg asked. "Perfect as always," said she. Kissed her husband. "Our miracle boy." Danny climbed into the back seat. Through the window, he saw something unusual. A ship was descending from the sky. It was not like any aircraft he had seen before. It was silver and oval-shaped, moving without any visible engines. "Dad, look," Danny said, pointing. Greg turned and stared. Other people in the parking lot had stopped to look as well. The ship landed smoothly in an open field near the medical center. A ramp extended from its base. "First contact," whispered. "It is really happening." Danny had heard about this on the news. 3 months ago, ships from space had arrived at Earth. They came from something called the Galactic Council, dozens of alien species working together. They had been watching Earth for years, waiting for humans to develop faster-than-light travel. When human scientists finally cracked the theory, the Council decided to make contact. The aliens said humans were welcome to join the galactic community. Earth was classified as a Category 4 world. That meant it was dangerous by alien standards. High gravity, extreme weather, lots of diseases. Humans who evolved here were considered tough but not threatening. Some aliens called them, strong enough to survive harsh conditions but nothing the galaxy had not seen before. Several figures emerged from the ship. They were humanoid but clearly not human. One had blue skin and 4 arms. Another had scales and a tail. A third looked almost human except for the large eyes and small nose. "They are coming here," Greg said, "to the medical center." A crowd was forming. Security guards came out of the building. Doctor appeared looking nervous but excited. The aliens approached calmly. One of them, the blue-skinned one, held up a device that projected a hologram. "Greetings," the device translated. "We are representatives of the Galactic Council. We have been informed this facility performs advanced medical procedures. We wish to learn about human medicine." Doctor stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth. We would be honored to share our knowledge." Danny watched from the car, fascinated. The aliens moved with grace. They seemed friendly, curious, but cautious. Over the next hour, more people arrived. News crews set up cameras. Government officials in dark suits appeared. The aliens were escorted inside the medical center. His phone buzzed. She answered it and listened for a moment. "They want to meet Danny," she said to Greg. "Doctor told them about his condition. They have never heard of anything like it." "Do we have to?" Greg asked. "It is voluntary," said, "but it might be good for him, for humanity. It shows what we can do." Danny spoke up from the back seat. "I want to meet them." His parents looked at each other. Finally, Greg nodded. "Okay, but we stay with him the entire time." They went back inside. The medical center felt different now. Aliens walked the hallways, escorted by staff. Their technology scanned walls and equipment. They asked questions about everything. Doctor found them and led them to a conference room. 3 aliens were waiting inside. The blue-skinned one introduced itself as Council Observer. The scaled one was Physician. The third, the almost human one, was Cultural Liaison Ra. "This is Danny Carter," Doctor said, "the patient I mentioned." His 4 eyes focused on Danny. "You are very young. We were told you have an unusual circulatory system." "I have 4 hearts," Danny said simply. The aliens looked at each other, pulled out a scanning device. "May I examine you?" Danny nodded. The device hummed as it passed over his chest. The screen showed his 4 hearts beating in perfect rhythm. The aliens stared at the display in silence. "This is extraordinary," finally said. "In all the galaxy, I have never seen a natural quadruple heart system, and for it to function so perfectly." "It was not natural," Doctor explained. "We grew the additional hearts using stem cell therapy. Danny was dying. This saved his life." "You created this?" Ra asked. "Humans have this level of medical technology." "We are learning," Doctor said. "Danny is the first successful case. We cannot replicate it yet." Made a gesture with its upper arms. "Category 4 classification may need review. A species that can modify its own biology at this level is remarkable." Danny did not understand everything they were saying, but he understood the looks on their faces. Surprise, maybe even concern. The aliens had expected humans to be tough but primitive. Instead, they found a species that could rebuild its own hearts. The meeting ended after 30 minutes. The aliens thanked them and left. As Danny and his parents walked back to their car, pulled him close. "You just made history," she said. "Those aliens will tell the galaxy about you." Danny looked up at the ship in the field. More aliens were boarding it now, carrying cases of data. He felt strange, proud, but also worried. He was just a kid who wanted to live. Now aliens across the galaxy would know his name. 6 months had passed since the aliens first visited Earth. Danny was still 8 years old, but his life had changed completely. News networks across the galaxy had broadcast stories about the human child with 4 hearts. Some species called it fascinating. Others called it disturbing. A few called it dangerous. Carter had been asked to join a diplomatic mission to Station Meridian. The station orbited a neutral moon between human and alien space. It was a place where different species could meet safely. Worked as a medical consultant now, teaching aliens about human biology. The Galactic Council wanted to understand humans better, and she was one of their best teachers. She brought Danny with her. Greg had wanted him to stay on Earth, but argued it was safer to keep him close. Danny was famous now, not movie star famous, but known across multiple worlds. There had already been 2 attempts to break into their house. Security cameras caught aliens trying to get samples of Danny's DNA. The police caught them, but it made everyone nervous. Station Meridian was huge. It had over 50 levels and housed thousands of beings from hundreds of species. Danny walked through the corridors holding his mother's hand, staring at everything. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved past them. Some walked on 2 legs, others on 4 or 6. Some floated using anti-gravity devices. A few were so strange Danny could not tell which end was the head. "Stay close," reminded him. This place is safe, but it is easy to get lost. Ambassador Lynch met them at the residential level. She was in charge of the human delegation. She smiled when she saw Danny. "You must be Danny," she said. "I have heard a lot about you." "Nice to meet you," Danny said politely. "Your mother tells me you are quite the runner," said. 5 miles without stopping. "Sometimes more," Danny admitted. Laughed. "Well, there is a recreation area on level 30. Lots of kids your age from different species. You might want to check it out." Looked uncertain. "Is it safe?" "Commander Jake Phillips runs security there," said. "Former military. The station is one of the most protected places in known space." The next day had meetings with council medical officials. Danny went to the recreation area with an escort. The room was enormous, with different zones for different species. Some areas had water for aquatic children. Others had low gravity for species from smaller planets. One section was marked for high-gravity species, including humans. Danny saw a group of alien children playing something like tag. One of them noticed him and approached. It was a small creature with purple fur and large ears. "You are human?" it asked through a translator device. "Yes," Danny said. "I am Danny." "I am T," the alien said. "Want to play endurance run? We race until someone gives up." Other children gathered around. They had heard about humans being tough. They wanted to see if it was true. Danny agreed. He did not want to show off, but he also did not want to seem weak. They started running on a long circular track. There were 12 children racing. After 2 laps, half of them dropped out, breathing hard. After 5 laps, only Danny and 2 others remained. After 10 laps, Danny was alone, still running easily. His 4 hearts pumped oxygen through his body without strain. He barely felt tired. The other children stared in amazement. T came over, still catching its breath. "How are you not exhausted?" "I just keep going," Danny said with a shrug. An adult alien supervising the area watched Danny carefully. It spoke into a communication device, but Danny did not hear what it said. He played with the other children for another hour before his escort took him back to his mother. Was in her quarters reviewing notes. She looked up when Danny entered. "How was it?" "Fun," Danny said. "I made some friends." "That is good," said. She seemed distracted. "Did anything unusual happen?" Danny thought about the running race, but it had not seemed unusual to him. "No, just played games." 2 levels below, in a cargo bay marked as restricted, a ship docked quietly. Its codes were legitimate, registered to a merchant named. The cargo manifest listed medical supplies. Station security scanned it and approved entry. They did not know the codes had been stolen 3 weeks earlier. Inside the ship, and 6 other aliens prepared their equipment. They wore armor under loose clothing. They carried weapons that looked like tools, checked a data pad showing station layouts. "The human child will be in the residential area," he said to his crew. "Level 42. We take him and any other valuable specimens, fast and clean. The station won't react in time." "What about security?" one of them asked. "We have jammers," said, "and we have the hull charges. If anyone tries to stop us, we blow a hole in the children's section. They will be too busy saving lives to chase us." The crew moved out, splitting into 2 groups. They looked like ordinary visitors walking through the station. Security cameras saw nothing suspicious. Danny was eating dinner with his mother when the alarm started. It was a loud, repeating sound that made his ears hurt. Red lights flashed on the walls. Jumped up immediately, her military training kicked in. "Stay behind me." The door opened. Commander Jake Phillips stood there in full security armor. "We have a breach. Armed individuals on level 42. All civilians need to evacuate to emergency shelters." "Where?" asked. "Follow the blue lights," Jake said. He was already moving to the next door. Grabbed Danny's hand and ran. Other people were in the hallways now, all heading the same direction. Aliens of every species rushed toward the emergency shelters. Danny could feel his mother's fear, but he stayed calm. His 4 hearts kept his head clear, pumping oxygen efficiently even as they ran. They reached a junction where the hallway split. The blue lights pointed left. But Danny heard something to the right, children crying. He pulled on his mother's hand. "Mom, someone is that way." "We have to get to the shelter," said. An explosion rocked the station. The floor shook. Air rushed past them as pressure dropped. Emergency doors started closing throughout the section, looked right and saw what Danny had heard. A group of young aliens stood frozen in fear. One of them was T, the purple-furred child Danny had raced with. Behind them, 4 armed figures appeared. They wore masks and carried weapons. One of them pointed at the children and shouted orders. Made a decision, she pushed Danny toward the shelter. "Go, get inside." But Danny did not go. He saw the armed figures grabbing the children. He saw T struggling. His legs moved before his brain could stop them. He ran toward the attackers. "Danny, no!" screamed. One of the attackers saw him coming. It raised a weapon. Danny dodged left, faster than the alien expected. His enhanced oxygen delivery made his reflexes sharp. He slammed into the attacker's legs. The alien fell, dropping its weapon. Another explosion tore through the wall. The section's hull breached. Air blasted out into space. Emergency seals tried to activate, but they had been sabotaged. The pressure drop was sudden and catastrophic. Danny felt the air rip from his lungs. His ears popped. His eyes burned. Normal humans could survive in vacuum for maybe 90 seconds before brain death. Children less than that. The cold hit him like a hammer. But Danny had 4 hearts, 4 independent pumps keeping his blood moving. Even without air, his brain kept getting oxygen from his blood for longer, much longer. His body went into emergency mode. His hearts beat faster, circulating every bit of oxygen left in his system. He grabbed T and pulled the small alien close. He looked around desperately. The emergency shelter door was still open, 20 feet away. He pushed off the floor, using the last bit of air pressure to propel them forward. His vision started to blur. His lungs screamed, but his hearts kept beating. 15 feet, 10 feet, 5 feet. He shoved T through the door. The small alien tumbled inside. Danny tried to follow, but his strength was fatting. His hand caught the door frame. He pulled with everything he had. His 4 hearts pumped harder, squeezing every molecule of oxygen from his blood. He fell through the door. It sealed behind him. Pressure returned. Danny gasped, pulling air into his burning lungs. His vision slowly cleared. T was beside him, unconscious but breathing. Rushed to him, tears streaming down her face. "Danny, are you okay? Can you hear me?" "I'm fine," Danny wheezed. His chest hurt, his head pounded, but he was alive. Medical teams arrived minutes later. They scanned Danny in disbelief. He had been in near vacuum for 4 minutes and 17 seconds. That was impossible. No child should survive that. Most adults would be dead or brain damaged. But Danny's 4 hearts had kept just enough oxygen flowing to his brain. Just enough to survive. Just enough to save T2. Commander Jake found them in the medical bay. His face was grim. "The attackers are dead. They triggered their own hull charges trying to escape. We recovered their ship. It belongs to a slaver network." "They were after the children?" asked. Jake looked at Danny. "They were after him specifically. We found a contract on their ship. Someone put a bounty on the 4-hearted human. They wanted him alive." Danny felt cold despite the warm medical bay. Someone out there wanted to capture him. Someone thought he was valuable enough to attack a protected station. Held him close. "We are going home right now." But it was too late. The security footage had already been transmitted. Every species on the Co-3 years had changed everything. Danny Carter was 11 years old now, and he could not remember the last time he felt safe. The family had moved 4 times. They changed their names twice. Security cameras watched their house constantly. Armed guards stood at the doors. None of it was enough. The galaxy knew about him, the 4-hearted human who survived in space, the child who could not be killed. Criminal networks wanted him for his organs. Scientists wanted to study him. Weapons manufacturers wanted to replicate him. The bounty on his head had reached 20 million galactic credits. Isaac stood in the kitchen making breakfast. He was a large man, heavily muscled, with scars on his arms and a careful way of moving. Former Special Forces, retired 5 years ago. Now he worked as Danny's bodyguard and trainer. He had been hired after the 7th kidnapping attempt. "Morning," Isaac said as Danny came downstairs. "Sleep okay?" "Bad dreams again," Danny admitted. "About the station?" Danny nodded. He still saw the hull breach in his sleep, still felt the cold of space, still heard T crying. The small alien had survived and returned to his. He sent Danny messages sometimes, thanking him. Danny never knew what to say back. Came into the kitchen looking tired. She worked from home now, too afraid to leave Danny alone. Greg had taken a job that required travel. Someone had to pay for the security. Their marriage was strained. The stress of protecting their son was crushing them. "Dr. Cole is coming today," said, "for your checkup." Dr. Cole was a geneticist who studied Danny's condition. He came to the house every month, taking samples, running scans. He said he was trying to help other children with heart problems. Danny trusted him more than most doctors. Isaac set a plate of eggs in front of Danny. "Eat up. We have training after the checkup." Training meant learning to survive. Isaac taught Danny how to move quietly, how to read his surroundings, how to use everyday objects as weapons. He taught him which fights to avoid and which fights he could win. At 11 years old, Danny was learning things most soldiers did not know until they were adults. "Do I have to?" Danny asked. "Yes," Isaac said firmly. "You have gifts most people don't, but gifts make you a target. You need to know how to protect yourself." Dr. Cole arrived an hour later. He set up his portable lab in the dining room, unpacking scanners and sample kits. Danny sat still while the doctor worked. "Your hearts are functioning perfectly," Dr. Cole said, watching the screen. "Better than perfect, actually. Your body's efficiency is improving as you grow." "What does that mean?" Danny asked. "It means you can do things no one else can," Dr. Cole said. "Your endurance is off any scale we have. Your recovery time from injury is hours instead of days. Your resistance to toxins and diseases is extraordinary. You are the healthiest person I have ever examined." "Then why do I feel so tired all the time?" Danny asked quietly. Dr. Cole looked up from his equipment. "That is not physical exhaustion. That is mental, emotional. You have been through more than any child should face." Wiped her eyes from across the room. The checkup finished. Dr. Cole packed his equipment. As he was leaving, he stopped at the door. "There have been inquiries," he said, to other families with sick children. "They want to know if we can replicate the procedure that saved Danny." "Can you?" asked. "We are trying," Dr. Cole said. "But Danny's case was unique. The circumstances, the timing, his body's response. We have tried the procedure on 6 other patients. 2 developed complications. 4 are stable but did not develop additional hearts. None of them have Danny's abilities." After he left, Isaac took Danny outside to the training area. It was a cleared section of land behind the house, surrounded by high walls and cameras. Isaac had set up obstacles, climbing walls and targets. "Today we work on sustained movement," Isaac said. "In a real fight, your enemy will try to exhaust you, make you stop, but you can outlast anyone." They started running. Isaac set a hard pace. For a normal person, it would be brutal. For Danny, it was just exercise. They ran for 30 minutes without stopping. Isaac was breathing hard. Danny barely felt winded. "You see the difference?" Isaac asked, bending over to catch his breath. "I am trained, I am fit, but I cannot keep up with you. Your enemies will have the same problem." They moved to combat training. Isaac taught Danny basic strikes, how to use leverage, how to turn someone's strength against them. Danny was small for his age, but his endurance made him dangerous. He could keep fighting when others collapsed. The alert came at sunset. His phone buzzed with an emergency code. Isaac's earpiece crackled with voices. Both of them went still. "What is it?" Danny asked. "Get inside," Isaac said, "now." They ran for the house, was already at the security console. Cameras showed figures approaching from 3 directions, 8 of them. They moved professionally, spreading out, covering each other's movements. "How did they find us?" asked desperately. "Does not matter," Isaac said. He was pulling weapons from a hidden safe. "We need to evacuate. Danny, grab your go bag." Danny ran to his room and pulled the backpack from under his bed. It held clothes, water, medical supplies, and emergency equipment. He had practiced this dozens of times. He threw it on and ran back downstairs. The windows exploded inward. Smoke grenades filled the first floor. Isaac fired twice, hitting 2 of the attackers. They fell. The others returned fire. Bullets tore through the walls. "Back door," Isaac shouted. They ran through the kitchen. Went first, then Danny, then Isaac, covering their retreat. They burst into the backyard. 2 more attackers were there, waiting. They had predicted the escape route. One of them grabbed. She fought, her military training showing. She broke his grip and drove her elbow into his throat. He staggered back. The other attacker went for Danny. He was fast, well-trained. He caught Danny's arm and yanked him toward a waiting vehicle. Danny twisted, using the technique Isaac taught him, but the attacker was too strong. Isaac fired, the bullet hit the attacker's shoulder. He dropped Danny and pulled his own weapon. Isaac and the attacker exchanged shots. Both went down. Isaac screamed. Danny saw more attackers coming around the house. 6 left, maybe more. His mother pulled him toward the tree line. They could hide in the forest, call for help, but the attackers were faster. They were closing in. Danny made a choice. Mom, run, get help. I am not leaving you, said. You have to, Danny said. He could hear Isaac groaning behind them, alive but hurt. His mother could not carry both of them. Someone had to get away and bring help. Understood, she kissed his forehead quickly. Stay alive, that is an order. Then she ran into the darkness, moving fast and silent. The attackers reached Danny. They surrounded him. One of them, clearly the leader, stepped forward. He was tall, with mechanical implants along his skull. A mercenary, expensive and professional. The four-hearted human, the leader said. You have led us on quite a chase. What do you want? Danny asked. To deliver you to our employer, the leader said. You are worth a fortune, dead or alive, but preferably alive. Danny looked at the 6 attackers surrounding him. They had weapons, armor, experience. He was 11 years old, but he had something they did not. He had 4 hearts that would not quit. He ran, not toward safety. He ran deeper into the property, toward the obstacle course, the terrain he knew. The obstacles Isaac made him practice on every day. The mercenaries chased him. They were fast, well-trained, but Danny was faster. His 4 hearts pumped oxygen through his body without strain. He vaulted over a wall, slid under a barrier, climbed over cargo nets. The mercenaries followed, but they were slowing down. Danny kept running. He led them in circles through the training area. They fired at him. Shots hit close but missed. Danny's enhanced reflexes, fed by perfectly oxygenated blood, let him react faster than normal. He ducked behind cover, changed directions, never stopped moving. 10 minutes passed. The mercenaries were breathing hard. Their shots became less accurate. They split up to try to corner him. Danny knew every inch of this ground. He climbed onto the high platform Isaac built for jump training. The mercenaries converged below, thinking they had him trapped. Their leader laughed. Nowhere left to run, boy. Danny looked down at them. They were exhausted. Sweat poured down their faces. They could barely hold their weapons steady. He had been running all out for 10 minutes. They could not keep up. I am not the one who is trapped, Danny said quietly. He jumped down, but not where they expected. He landed behind the leader, rolled, and kept running. The leader spun and fired. Missed. Danny grabbed a training weight from the ground, a heavy metal ball. He threw it. His aim was not great, but he did not need to be precise. The weight hit one mercenary's knee. The man collapsed. Danny kept moving. He circled around them, making them chase him, making them burn their energy. His 4 hearts beat steadily. No fatigue, no exhaustion, just constant motion. 15 minutes. One mercenary stopped completely, bent over, gasping for air. 20 minutes. 2 more collapsed, unable to breathe. The leader and 2 others were still coming, but they moved like they were underwater. Slow, heavy. Danny stopped running. He turned to face them. They raised their weapons, but their hands shook. They could barely aim. Police sirens wailed in the distance, had reached help. The mercenaries heard it too. They had to choose, capture Danny or escape. The leader tried one last lunge, Danny easily. The man crashed into a wall and fell. The other 2 mercenaries ran for their vehicle. They left their leader behind. Police vehicles arrived with security teams. They found Danny standing over the collapsed mercenaries. Isaac was being treated by medics. Ran to Danny and held him tight. Later, in the secure facility where they were taken, Isaac sat with his arm in a sling. He looked at Danny with something like pride. You ran them into the ground, Isaac said. They never had a chance. I just did what you taught me, Danny said. No, Isaac said. I taught you techniques. You did something else. You turned your greatest strength into a weapon. They thought they were hunting you, but you were hunting them. Held Danny close. This has to stop. We cannot keep living like this. It will not stop, Isaac said grimly. The galaxy knows what he can do now. They know the war came to Danny when he was 12 years old, not a war between governments or armies, a war between criminals who wanted him and everyone trying to protect him. The Talon Syndicate had decided that subtle attempts were pointless. They were going to take him by force. Lord led the Talon Syndicate. He controlled smuggling routes across 12 sectors. His network dealt in weapons, drugs, and people. He had spent millions trying to capture Danny quietly. Every attempt had failed. Now he was done being quiet. The attacks started on a Tuesday morning. 3 human colonies in the outer territories were hit simultaneously. Ships dropped from faster-than-light travel and opened fire on orbital stations. Ground teams landed and started rounding up civilians. The message was clear. Give us the 4-hearted human or watch your people suffer. Danny was on Earth when he heard the news. He sat in the living room with his parents, watching reports flood in. Thousands of people were being held hostage. The syndicate was demanding Danny's location within 24 hours. They cannot be serious, Greg said. The Council will not allow this. The Council does not have jurisdiction in the outer territories, said. Her face was pale. Those colonies are on their own. Admiral Ford appeared on the emergency broadcast. She commanded the human defense fleet. Her voice was steady but angry. We are mobilizing all available ships. This attack on human civilians will not stand. However, I must address the syndicate directly. We do not negotiate with terrorists. We do not trade lives. Release the hostages immediately or face complete destruction. Danny's phone buzzed. It was a message from an unknown number. He opened it and felt his blood turn cold. A video started playing. It showed his 6-year-old brother tied to a chair in a dark room, was crying. A voice spoke over the video. You have 12 hours, 4-hearted human. Come to the coordinates we send or your brother dies. Come alone or he dies. Try to rescue him, he dies. You understand? Danny's hands shook, saw his face and grabbed the phone. She watched the video and screamed. Greg took it from her, watched, and went very still. They took him from school, Greg said quietly. That is the jacket we bought him last week. This is recent. How did they get to Earth? Asked. How did they get past all our security? Danny stood up. His mind was racing, but his body was calm. His 4 hearts beat steadily, keeping him focused. I have to go. Absolutely not, Greg said. Dad, they have. And if you go, they will have both of you, said. We call Admiral Ford, we send in a rescue team. They said no rescue attempts, Danny said. If soldiers show up, they will kill him. The argument continued for an hour, and Greg refused to let Danny turn himself in. Danny refused to let his brother die. Finally, Isaac spoke up. The boy is right, Isaac said. A military rescue is too risky, but Danny has advantages. He can survive things no rescue team can. He can get in, and more importantly, he can get out. He is 12 years old, said desperately. He is also the only person who has escaped every attempt to capture him, Isaac said. He knows how to survive, and the syndicate wants him alive. That gives him leverage. Danny made his choice. I am going, you cannot stop me. Started crying. Greg held her. They both knew their son was right. The syndicate would not kill Danny immediately. They wanted to study him. That bought time. Time Danny could use. The coordinates led to a hidden station in unclaimed space. Danny went alone in a small shuttle. Isaac had loaded it with tracking devices and emergency beacons. Admiral Ford's fleet waited 3 hours away, ready to jump in the moment Danny activated the signal. The station was massive, a converted cargo hub. Weapons bristled from every surface. Dozens of ships were docked around it. Danny's shuttle was met by fighters that escorted him to a docking bay. He stepped out of the shuttle. 20 armed guards surrounded him immediately. They scanned him for weapons, for tracking devices, for anything dangerous. They found nothing. Isaac had hidden the trackers in Danny's own body, injected under his skin where scanners would read them as medical implants. Lord himself came to meet Danny. He was tall, reptilian, with scales that shimmered like oil. His eyes were cold and calculating. The famous 4-hearted human said, smaller than I expected. Where is my brother? Danny asked. Safe for now, gestured to his guards. Take him to the medical bay, begin preparations. They dragged Danny through the station corridors. He counted doors, memorized turns, noted security checkpoints. His 4 hearts kept his mind sharp despite the fear. They took him to a surgical room filled with equipment. Doctors waited with cutting tools and scanners. We will start with basic scans, one doctor said. Then we will open you up and see what makes you special. They strapped Danny to a table. One of the doctors injected something into his arm, a sedative meant to knock him out. Danny felt it hit his bloodstream. His vision started to blur. but his four hearts worked faster, pumping blood through his system, diluting the drug. The doctors expected him to go unconscious in seconds. Instead, Danny stayed awake. He waited, pretended to be asleep, let his body go limp. The doctors checked his vitals and seemed satisfied. They began preparing their instruments. The moment they turned away, Danny opened his eyes. His hands were strapped down, but the restraints were designed for an unconscious patient. He pulled hard. The straps cut into his wrists, but he kept pulling. His enhanced endurance let him ignore the pain. The strap on his right hand broke. He freed his other hand quickly. The doctors heard the noise and turned. Danny was already moving. He grabbed a surgical tray and threw it. Instruments scattered across the room. He jumped off the table and ran for the door. Alarms blared immediately. Guards poured into the corridor. Danny ran. He had no plan except to find and survive. His four hearts pumped steadily. The guards chased him, but Danny was faster. He ducked into a maintenance shaft and climbed. The station's ventilation system was his salvation. The ducts were narrow and hot. Normal people could not stay in them long, but Danny's four hearts kept him from overheating. He crawled through the ducts for what felt like hours, moving deeper into the station. He found a terminal and accessed the station map. Was being held on the detention level. Danny plotted a route through the ventilation system. It would take him through the engineering section, past the power generators, and into the detention block. He kept moving. Guards searched below him. They could not keep up. They had to stop and rest. Danny did not stop. His body did not demand rest. His muscles did not cramp. His lungs did not burn. He just kept going. He reached the detention level after 3 hours of crawling. He dropped into an empty corridor and found the holding cells. Was in the third one, curled up in the corner. His face was dirty and tear-stained. Danny whispered through the door. His brother looked up. "Danny, you came." "I am getting you out," Danny said. He pulled at the lock. It was electronic, too sophisticated to break. He needed another approach. Footsteps echoed down the corridor. Guards were coming. Danny pulled away from the door. "Stay back." The guards arrived, weapons raised. There were 6 of them. They saw Danny and laughed. "The experiment escaped," one said. "Lord wants him intact, stun setting only." They fired. Danny dove behind a cell divider. Energy bolts scorched the walls. He looked around desperately for any advantage. His eyes landed on a fire suppression panel. He punched it. Foam sprayed everywhere, covering the floor in slippery white substance. The guards advanced carefully. Danny ran at them, not away. They did not expect that. He slid on the foam, moving faster than they could track. He grabbed one guard's leg and pulled. The guard fell. Danny took his weapon. He did not know how to use it properly, but he fired anyway. The shots went wide, but the guards scattered for cover. In that moment, Danny grabbed a key card from the fallen guard's belt. He ran back to cell and swiped it. The door opened. "Come on," Danny grabbed his brother's hand. They ran together. Alarms screamed throughout the station. Every guard was converging on their location. Danny activated the emergency beacon hidden under his skin. Admiral Ford's fleet would be here in less than 3 hours. They just had to survive until then. He pulled into the ventilation system. It was a tight fit for both of them. They crawled as fast as they could. Guards fired into the ducts, but the shots could not penetrate the metal. Danny found an auxiliary control room. He broke in and locked the door. He started accessing the station systems. Isaac had taught him basic hacking. He was not good at it, but he did not need to be good. He just needed to cause chaos. He opened all the airlock doors at once. Emergency bulkheads slammed down throughout the station, dividing it into isolated sections. He triggered fire alerts. He shut down the gravity in random areas. He made the station tear itself apart from within. Lord screamed orders across the communication system. "Find them. Kill the brother if you must, but bring me the four-hearted one alive." Danny kept working. He released the other prisoners held in detention. They poured into the corridors, adding to the confusion. He rerouted power from weapons to life support, making it harder for the station to defend itself. 2 hours passed. Admiral Ford's fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Warships surrounded the station, tried to negotiate. Admiral Ford's response was simple: surrender or die. The battle lasted 30 minutes. The station's weapons were offline thanks to Danny's sabotage. Talon Syndicate ships tried to protect it, but they were outnumbered. Human Marines boarded the station from 6 entry points. Danny heard the firefights getting closer. He held close. Almost over, stay quiet. The door to their hiding place exploded inward. A Marine team rushed in, weapons ready. They saw two children huddled in the corner. "Target acquired," the team leader said into his radio. Four-hearted human and his brother, both alive. And Greg met them on Admiral Ford's flagship. There was crying, hugging, shouting, would not let go of Danny, held both her sons like she would never let them go. Lord was captured trying to escape in a personal shuttle. He was brought before Admiral Ford in chains. She looked at him with disgust. "You attacked human colonies, you kidnapped children, you threatened a 12-year-old boy." She turned to her officers. "Life imprisonment, no parole, no negotiation." The news spread quickly. Danny Carter had been captured, infiltrated a criminal station, rescued his brother, and crippled the station's defenses from within, all while being hunted by hundreds of guards, all at 12 years old. The Galactic criminal networks updated their files again. Next to Danny's name, a new line appeared: "Do not engage. Subject is not prey. Subject is predator. Multiple organizations destroyed attempting capture. Consider him off limits." 5 years had passed since the Talon Syndicate fell. Danny Carter was 16 years old now, and the galaxy was different. So was he. He stood in front of a mirror in his room, looking at the person staring back. Taller now, broader in the shoulders, still lean but muscular from years of training. Scars marked his arms and chest from surgeries, injuries, and attacks. But his eyes looked tired, older than 16. He had seen too much. Doctor knocked on his door, ready for the presentation. Danny turned away from the mirror. "As ready as I will ever be." Doctor had become his mentor 3 years ago. She was a medical researcher who studied the procedure that saved Danny's life. Together, they had refined it. The Carter Protocols, they called them. A set of surgical procedures using advanced stem cell therapy to treat children with heart defects. Not every patient developed 4 hearts like Danny. Most grew additional heart tissue that strengthened their existing heart. Some developed 2 hearts. Only 3 children in 5 years had developed the full 4-heart system, but thousands of children who would have died were now alive. Danny walked with Doctor to the shuttle waiting outside. They were going to the Galactic Council headquarters. Danny had been invited to speak about the Carter Protocols and about human medical achievements. It was a great honor. It also terrified him. The Council headquarters orbited a neutral planet in the center of known space. It was a massive structure, beautiful and imposing. Ships from hundreds of worlds docked there daily. Danny had been here twice before, once as an 8-year-old curiosity, once as a 12-year-old victim giving testimony about the Syndicate attacks. Now he came as something else. An advocate, a symbol, a bridge between humans and the rest of the galaxy. President met them at the docking bay. He was Earth's first president elected after first contact. Young, energetic, and idealistic, he shook Danny's hand warmly. "Thank you for doing this," said. "I know public speaking is not your favorite activity." "It is important," Danny said simply. They walked through the council halls. Aliens of every species passed them. Some stared at Danny. Everyone knew who he was, the 4-hearted human, the boy who survived space, the child who destroyed the Talon Syndicate, the teenager who chose medicine over revenge. The council chamber was enormous. Delegates from over 300 species sat in rising tiers around a central platform. Danny walked to that platform, feeling every eye on him. Doctor and President sat in the human delegation area. The council speaker, an ancient being with crystalline skin, called the session to order. "The Council recognizes Danny Carter of Earth. He has been invited to address this body regarding human medical advancements and their implications for galactic society." Danny stepped to the podium. His 4 hearts beat steadily, keeping him calm. He had practiced this speech for weeks. But now, standing here, he felt the words were not enough. 5 years ago, this council classified humanity as Category 4, Danny began. His voice was quiet but clear. "You said we were tough but not threatening. Then you learned about me, about my 4 hearts, and you changed that classification to Category 2, high threat level. You became afraid." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. This was not the speech they expected. "I understand why," Danny continued. "You saw a child survive things that should kill him. You saw him outlast trained soldiers. You saw him infiltrate a station and bring down a criminal empire. You thought, if one human child can do this, what can humanity become?" He paused. You asked the wrong question. You should have asked, why did he do it? The chamber fell silent. I survived in space because a child was dying and I would not let go. I escaped from criminals because they took my brother. I brought down the syndicate because they hurt innocent people. Everything I did to protect others, not to conquer, not to dominate, to protect. Danny looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of delegates from species he could not name. My 4 hearts do not make me a weapon. They make me someone who refuses to give up. That is what being human means. We do not quit. We do not surrender. Even when we should die, we find a way to survive. Not because we want to hurt anyone, because we want to help everyone. He gestured to Doctor. The Carter protocols have saved thousands of human children, but we are not keeping this knowledge to ourselves. We are sharing it. Any species that wants to adapt our techniques is welcome to them. We want to help. That is what we do. An alien delegate stood up. It was the physician who had examined Danny 8 years ago. The procedures you describe require durability. Most species cannot survive the stress of growing new organs. Then we will modify the procedures, Danny said. Doctor's team is already working with physicians from 17 different species. We are finding ways to adapt human medicine to alien biology. It is not easy, but we are not giving up. Another delegate spoke. Your endurance makes you dangerous. Your species refuses to accept defeat. This makes you unpredictable, threatening. Danny felt anger rising but kept his voice level. You are right. We do not accept defeat, but that does not make us your enemy. We could have used the Carter protocols to create super soldiers. We could have made weapons out of children. We did not. We made doctors. We made advocates. We chose healing over hurting. He stepped away from the podium, facing the chamber directly. I have been shot at, kidnapped, hunted, and nearly killed more times than I can count. I have every reason to hate the aliens who tried to capture me. But I do not. Because most of you are just trying to survive, same as humans. Most of you want peace. A few criminals do not represent your entire species, just like I do not represent all humans. Then what do you represent? The council speaker asked. Danny thought about his answer carefully. I represent what humans can be. We take our worst moments and find ways to survive them. We take our pain and turn it into purpose. I was dying when I was 3 years old. Doctors gave me 4 hearts to save my life. Those hearts let me save others. That is the human story. We survive, and then we help everyone else survive too. The chamber was quiet for a long moment, then stood again. I have examined hundreds of species across the galaxy. I have never encountered one that adapts like humans do, that refuses to accept limits like humans do. It is terrifying, but it is also inspiring. Other delegates began to speak. Some expressed concerns. Some asked questions about the Carter protocols. Some wanted to know if humans could be trusted with such powerful medical knowledge. Danny answered every question honestly. The session lasted 4 hours. When it ended, the council speaker made an announcement. The council will review humanity's classification. A formal decision will be made within 6 standard months. In the meantime, we encourage continued medical cooperation between human and alien researchers. It was not a victory, but it was progress. After the session, Danny walked through the station gardens. It was a peaceful place filled with plants from dozens of worlds. He sat on a bench and closed his eyes. His 4 hearts beat steadily. They always did. They never let him down. Doctor found him there. You did well. I said what I needed to say, Danny replied. Whether they listen is up to them. They will listen, Doctor said. You gave them hope, not just fear. That is what they needed to hear. Danny's phone buzzed. A message from his mother checked on him constantly, even though he was 16 and capable of taking care of himself. The message was simple. Proud of you, love you, come home safe. He smiled, home, Earth, that made humans tough enough to survive anything. The world that taught them to never quit, he missed it. How many children are in the program now? Danny asked Doctor. 47 humans, 12 aliens from 6 different species, all of them alive because of the protocols you helped develop. Not me, Danny said. Doctor, you the whole team. You were the first, Doctor said. You proved it was possible. That makes you the beginning of something important. 3 children walked past their bench. They were young, maybe 7 or 8 years old. 1 human, 2 aliens. They were laughing, playing a game. The human child had 2 hearts. The Carter protocols had saved his life 2 years ago. The child saw Danny and stopped. His eyes went wide. "Are you Danny Carter?" "Yes," Danny said. "You have 4 hearts like me," the child said excitedly. Then he paused. "Well, not like me, I only have 2, but they say you are why I got mine." Danny knelt down to the child's level. "What is your name?" "Peter," the child said. "Well, Peter, having 2 hearts or 4 hearts is not what matters. What matters is what you do with them. You use them to be kind, to help people, to never give up on what is important." "Okay." Peter nodded seriously. "Okay, I will try." The children ran off back to their game. Danny watched them go. Those children would grow up in a galaxy that knew humans as more than just. They would be judged by their actions, not their biology. That was what Danny had fought for. That evening, Danny returned to Earth. His family was waiting at the house. Greg and they had dinner together, something they did not get to do often anymore. Greg worked on colony worlds now, taught at a military academy, was 10 years old and wanted to be a doctor like Doctor. "Did they listen?" asked. "Some of them," Danny said. "Others are still afraid, but that is okay. Fear is not the problem. What you do with fear is the problem." "Very wise," Greg said with a smile. "When did you get so wise?" "When I stopped running and started thinking," Danny said. Later that night, Danny stood on the porch looking at the stars. Somewhere up there, alien species were debating whether humans were dangerous, whether they could be trusted, whether the 4-hearted human was a threat or a hope. Danny did not know what they would decide, but he knew what he would do. He would keep working with Doctor, keep helping children who needed the Carter protocols, keep showing the galaxy that humans chose to heal rather than hurt. His 4 hearts beat in his chest, steady, reliable, unstoppable. They had kept him alive through impossible situations. They had given him the endurance to outlast every enemy. They had made him feared across the galaxy. But they had also given him the strength to choose mercy, the endurance to keep helping others even when it was hard, the ability to never give up on making things better. The most feared force in the galaxy was not his 4 hearts. It was his refusal to use them for destruction. The criminals had learned that lesson. The galaxy was learning it now. Humanity was not dangerous because they were strong. They were dangerous because they were kind, and nothing could make them stop being kind. Danny Carter walked back inside. Tomorrow he would return to the medical center. He would work with children who needed the Carter protocols. He would show them that survival was just the beginning. What you did after survival was what defined you. He was 16 years old. He had 4 hearts, and he had chosen to use them to save lives, not take them. That was the legacy he would leave, not fear, hope. The galaxy would never forget the 4-hearted human, but Danny hoped they would remember him not as the boy who could not be killed, but as the boy who refused to kill, the one who survived everything and chose peace. That was the most powerful force in the galaxy, not endurance, not strength, but the choice to be better, and humanity, with all their toughness and stubborn refusal to quit, had made that choice. The stars above Earth shone bright. Among them, hundreds of species watched and wondered. And on Earth, one boy with 4 hearts showed them what humanity really meant. Danny Carter was no longer just a target, he was a warning. Is not just tough, he is unstoppable. News networks reported the attack within hours. The security footage showed everything. A child running circles around professional mercenaries until they collapsed from exhaustion. The footage went viral across dozens of worlds. The galactic criminal networks updated their databases. Next to Danny Carter's name, they added a new warning: do not engage in prolonged pursuit. Subject does not tire. Multiple teams neutralized by attrition. Recommended approach: overwhelming force or avoid entirely. Danny had become more than a target. He had become a legend, the 4-hearted human who could not be stopped. Had seen it, a human child surviving in vacuum, protecting an alien while doing the impossible. The video spread across the galaxy within hours. Humans were no longer classified as Category 4. They were being reviewed for Category 2, high threat level. And Danny Carter, the 8-year-old boy with 4 hearts, had just become the most wanted child in known space. The ship lifted off silently and disappeared into the sky. Danny watched until it was gone. He did not know it then, but that meeting would change everything. Word would spread. A human child with 4 hearts, a medical impossibility that worked perfectly. Some would see him as a symbol of human potential. Others would see him as something to capture, to study, to exploit. For now, though, Danny was just happy to be alive. He climbed into the car and put on his. His 4 hearts beat steadily in his chest, keeping him stronger than any 8-year-old had a right to be.